Think about the last time you sent something important and heard nothing back. Maybe it was a job application, a formal request to someone senior, a message to a doctor's office about a test result you were waiting on. You sent it, time passed, silence, and at some point, not immediately, but after a while, you had to make a decision. How long do you wait before following up? Send too soon, and you look impatient. The thing might still be in transit. Wait too long, and whatever window you had has already closed. And if you do follow up and still hear nothing, how many times do you try before you accept that silence is the answer? That question, which anyone who has ever waited on something important will recognize, is also a question that every reliable network connection has to answer, millions of times per second, automatically, without any room to get it wrong. Imagine standing outside a door. You need to speak to the person inside. You knock, you wait, nothing. At this point, you have options. You could knock again immediately, but they might be on their way to the door, and you've already knocked twice. You could wait a reasonable amount of time and try again, which is what most people do. And if a second knock goes unanswered, and a third, at some point you have to conclude that either nobody is home or somebody is home and they are not opening the door. Either way, standing there knocking indefinitely is not a strategy. Now think about what a good algorithm for this looks like. First, knock. Wait a moment. No answer. Knock again. Still nothing. Wait a bit longer before the next knock. Still nothing. Wait longer again. Each gap between attempts grows. You are not giving up faster, and you are not hammering the door. You are being persistent in a way that is calibrated to how much silence has already accumulated. That is the shape of retransmission. Here is what it comes down to in one sentence. When a confirmation does not arrive, the sender does not panic and does not shrug. It follows a precise schedule of retry attempts, with each gap longer than the last. The first question retransmission has to answer is, how long is too long to wait? The sender cannot use a fixed number, say 1 second, because what counts as a reasonable wait depends entirely on the connection. A packet crossing the same city might come back in a few milliseconds. The packet bouncing between continents might take several hundred. A confirmation that should arrive in 10 milliseconds is alarming after 100. A confirmation that should take 200 milliseconds is unremarkable at 300. So the sender measures. Every time a packet goes out and a confirmation comes back, it records how long the round trip took. It maintains a running estimate of the typical round trip time for this connection, smoothed over recent history to avoid overreacting to a single spike. The retransmission timeout is calculated from that estimate, with a margin added to account for the natural variation in how long the network takes on any given exchange. This means the timeout adapts to the connection it is running on. A fast local connection earns a short timeout. A slow intercontinental one gets a longer one. The sender is always calibrating its patience to its circumstances. When the timer runs out with no confirmation in hand, the sender retransmits, sends the unacknowledged data again. And here is where the design gets careful. The timeout for the next attempt is doubled. If the first attempt waited 200 milliseconds, the second waits 400. The third waits 800. The fourth, 1600. This is called exponential backoff, and it exists for a reason that becomes clear when you think about what packet loss usually signals. If a packet did not get through, the most likely explanation is that something in the network is struggling. A link is congested, a router is overwhelmed, a queue somewhere is full. Sending another packet immediately into that same struggling network does not help. It makes things worse. The best thing a sender can do when the network is in trouble is back off. Give it room to recover before adding more load. Exponential backoff is the sender choosing to be a cooperative participant in a shared network rather than a system that hammers away, regardless of conditions. The backing off is not timidity. It is the correct response to evidence that the network needs space. There is a second mechanism worth understanding here, because it catches packet loss faster than waiting for a timeout. When a packet in the middle of a stream goes missing, later packets often still arrive. The receiver acknowledges those later arrivals, but each acknowledgement keeps pointing to the same position, the gap left by the missing packet. It cannot advance past the gap until that piece arrives. So the sender sees something specific, multiple confirmations arriving, all pointing to the same position, all telling it that everything beyond a certain point made it through, but one piece in the middle did not. 3 of these duplicate acknowledgements in a row is treated as a reliable signal. Not that the packet is delayed, but that it is gone. The sender retransmits immediately, without waiting for the timer to expire. This is called fast retransmit. It is faster than timeout-based recovery, because it uses the pattern of what did arrive as evidence about what did not, rather than waiting for silence to accumulate into a deadline. And what about giving up entirely, after enough retransmission attempts with no response? The exact count depends on implementation and configuration. The sender concludes that the connection is dead, not slow, not struggling, gone. The receiver is unreachable, or the network between them has deteriorated so completely that no further attempt is likely to succeed. The connection is torn down, and the application is told that delivery failed. This is the honest end of the reliability contract. The promise was never that data would always get through. The promise was that the system would keep trying until it could confirm success, and that if it could not, it would say so rather than pretending otherwise. Retransmission is easy to summarize in a sentence. If something does not arrive, send it again. But the engineering underneath that sentence is where the real work is. How long to wait before deciding something is missing? How to calibrate that wait to this particular connection? How to detect loss before the timer even fires? How to back off when the network is struggling? When to stop? What it adds up to is a sender that is neither impatient nor passive. It holds its obligations, watches for evidence, adapts to what the network is telling it, and keeps going until it has an answer. The answer might be success, it might be failure, but it is always an answer, and never a guess.